Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, link down below, my social media. I always say my social media, it's really just my Instagram. Will also be linked down below. I think my Snapchat's on there if you want to add me on there. I don't know, all the things always linked down below in the description box. But today we are just doing a Q&A. I thought it was time to just update you guys kind of like on my life, my situation, have a little chat. And there's like one thing in specific that I've been wanting to talk about just as a whole to like clear up confusion. So we're gonna do that. And basically I asked you guys to ask questions. I knew, because a lot of what I wanted to talk about is just like my situation in life. Is my door open? Oh my gosh, that just freaked me out. Hang on, I'm gonna close it. I don't know why that scared me in the background being open, but what was I saying? I knew I wanted to talk about kind of like my relationship, living situation, stuff like that. And so that's why I asked you guys to ask about my relationship, but other things too. So most of these are like relationship questions, because come on, that's like the juicy stuff that you all want to hear about anyway. But there are some other like random ones just sprinkled in there that I feel like I get a lot or I thought were interesting. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on into it. So our first question comes from Max. Max says, what is your favorite part of dating a hockey player? And I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? I think my favorite part of dating a hockey player is knowing that he's doing something that he loves so much and is so passionate about, because I feel like there's so many people out there that can say that they don't like their job or what they're doing right now, or wish that they could have been able to continue their sport. And it's like, I just always tell him how proud I am of him for how hard he's worked to get where he is. And like, he's just so fortunate and blessed that he is able to do the thing that he dreamt about doing since he was, you know, like 5 years old. Because how many people can say that they were able to do that? So I don't know, I think that's just what's the best part of dating a hockey player is, yeah, like I said, he's just so passionate about what he's doing. And that's something that was always really important to me in finding a partner, that to me it never really mattered what they were doing. I just am attracted to people that are very passionate about what they're doing, whatever it may be, and passionate about living life. And he's a very passionate person about what he does. And yeah, I just love that he loves what he's doing, and playing hockey makes him so happy, and I'm just so proud of him always. So that's definitely the best part of dating a hockey player. This question says, did you go through struggles with a long distance relationship in the beginning? And I was thinking about this, and to be honest, I was really nervous about long distance, and I shared that with Max going into it, being like, dude, I'm so nervous. You've never been in a long distance relationship before. They're not fun. They suck. They're really hard. Like, issues will arise, plans will change, stuff will get difficult, and it's not going to be easy. And I was so worried for it, but in all honesty, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be, or as difficult, because I think the two of us are just really, really good at communicating, and we are so fortunate and lucky and blessed, I always say, because I hate to like offend other people in long distance relationships. And I know you guys get mad at me when I am visiting every other week, and it's like, do realize how grateful I am that I'm able to see him so much. And some of you are like, oh, it's not even a long distance relationship. It is. He lives like a 5.5 hour drive, and I fly because I can't handle driving that much on my own. Anyway, just flying makes sense. And half the time I've realized now I have so many points that I can just like use my points to fly there, and it makes more sense anyway. So long distance struggles, it's overall been easier than I thought. And I feel like what's made it especially easy is knowing that it was only going to be for like 8 months during the hockey season. I feel like having an end date when you know you're going to be back together is the best part of a long distance relationship that you could be in, because you know like what you're working towards, and you have like an end goal in sight that you will end up together. I feel like long distance, where you're like, oh my gosh, we're dating like, you know, continents apart, and we have no plan of what the future may hold, like that could obviously be more difficult. So I feel like it was always nice knowing like, okay, April, May is when we'll be able to live together again. And obviously with me visiting all the time and having like the next date to look forward to for when you're going to see each other again. But I'm like getting off topic. Go through struggles in the beginning. I think in the beginning, what was I like had something in mind for what I was going to say. I think the struggles in the beginning were, oh yeah, this is what I was gonna say, were literally just like mental and me worrying about how long it was that we weren't going to be together, if that makes sense. But now, since it's towards the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, that went by so quick. And I actually feel like long distance was so fundamental and necessary for me as an individual to work on being independent. And as much as I didn't want to be long distance, I sort of knew in a way that I needed it. And I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I was grateful for this time because it really taught me how to enjoy my own company. So yeah. Okay, this is, like I said, some are just like randomly thrown in here. Where is your Gretchen phone case from? So I'm pretty sure what you're talking about is this one. I grabbed it because this is one I've had for the past like couple months. All my phone cases that I've had on my phone for I don't even know how long now are from Casetify. Most of my phone cases from Casetify. They're the best. I love them. Literally all my friends have Casetify cases. If you don't have a Casetify case, what are you doing? This one is from Casetify. This one has newly been put on like in the last week because I had this one on for so long. I'm like, I should really switch it up. This one is like iconic. This one I get so many questions about. So this is Casetify. This isn't the Impact one, but this one is. And the Impact cases from Casetify are the best, you guys. They have military grade drop protection. I know they are safe when you drop them over 6 feet like of a drop. I worded that so weird, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy how protective these are, but how like thin and sleek they are. They don't make your phone like a big ugly thick brick like other really protective ones do, which is my favorite part about it. And they're still so sleek, and this one I just thought was like a really pretty design. They have so many designs on there, like it's insane. So many like artists that made so many designs on Casetify. There's literally something for everyone, so I would so recommend Casetify. All my phone cases ever are from them. Here I have these ones too to show you guys. This is also an Impact one. If you guys remember, I had this one for a while. I just got a clear one, customized it with my name. That's the best part of Casetify too, is so many of them are customizable. This one is the iconic like glitter one. I feel like so many people have this one, love it. Got my name on there. And then, oh yeah, out of these three, I guess if you're talking about my name phone case, it could have been any one of these, so all Casetify. And then this one I didn't customize, I just, you know, left as like the print, but also Casetify. So if you guys want a Casetify phone case, I will link it down below. If you guys go to casetify.com/Gretchen, you'll get 20% off. So I would so recommend. I feel like I always get questions, what's your Casetify discount code? Go to casetify.com/Gretchen, you're at your 20% off. Good to go. I wish I could show you guys a drop test because these Impact cases are literally unreal and so cool. But if you guys remember, I need to go to Apple because I have Apple Care and just get a new phone, because you guys remember, I don't even know what my phone name is called. It's that really long one. It's like the 11 Pro Plus Max, whatever this big one is with like the 3 cameras, and I dropped it literally like 2 days after I got it. The day that my Casetify cases came in the mail, like before I had a chance to put it on, and I was like, if only I had put this on sooner, my phone would have been saved. So the back of my phone is shattered, so if I dropped this, I wouldn't even be able to show you how it could protect it because it's already shattered. Do you know what I'm saying? But you guys know I love Aspen and Parker, and I know they did a drop test on their channel, so if you want to see like how cool it is, they literally threw it off their staircase, and I was like so nervous for them, but their phone was obviously fine. And literally, if you probably can't see, but like in this phone case that I had for so long, since the back of my phone is so shattered, the little pieces of the glass were like all inside that phone case because it is just like a wreck. You've seen it in other videos. I'm not even going to show you how bad it is. So yeah, I wish I could show you how awesome this is, but I can't because it's already shattered. But also what's cool is I'm like realizing by looking at it right now, you see the ones that have like the little bubble in the front, it keeps the front of your phone safe too, which is so nice. Like you always want the ones that have the little bump like ridge in the front, because when it falls on that and not actually your screen. You know what I'm saying? Okay, moving on with the Q&A. If you're interested in the phone cases, link down below, casetify.com/Gretchen, 20% off, as it always has been. Okay. How did you know it was the right time to move in together? So I feel like this is different, case by case basis for every relationship. But honestly, Max and I started dating end of October. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So we've been dating for like 7 months. And in May is when I graduated, and he finished his master's program at BU over the summer, like his graduate degree. Anyway, whatever. Basically in May is when you start thinking like, okay, where is my next move? Where am I gonna live? Who am I gonna live with? And at that point, I feel like we were just so serious so early on in our relationship. Like everything was so yeah, I guess just serious so quickly. And I think every relationship moves at like a different pace and whatever. And he was the first guy that I dated that was like substantially older than me, so I feel like he was just a lot more mature. Anyway, and you guys know it made the most sense for me and my best friend Taylor to move in together, so that's what we did. And Max lived with us for the summer before he embarked on his pro hockey journey season. And yeah, so we just like knew very early on that we were compatible, could live together well. He's very clean and neat. I try my best, and he pushes me to be a better person and challenges me. And yeah, like I said, I just think every relationship is so different, and we are people, I'm sure I'll get into this and talk about it, that we really just like spending time together and like physically being together in person, which is why I was so worried about long distance. But it's really not that bad since we FaceTime maybe like 5 times a day every day. No, I'm kidding. Some days we go without FaceTime, and then the next day I'm like, hi, long time no see, like we have so much to catch up on, you know. But I think it really just depends on each relationship. So I know people can be like so judgy and be like, you're so clingy, let him breathe, blah blah blah. And there was questions, I know I wrote it down, does Max get annoyed with you being so clingy? But it's like, give me some credit, people. I know I'm clingy, but he can be clingy too. He doesn't get annoyed with me because we both just enjoy each other's company and enjoy spending so much time together. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it also comes down to your like love language as a human, not to like get too deep into it. But have you guys like heard about that? Because I know for some people, like I think for the both of us, like the highest on our list is just like quality time or whatever that's called, like time that you literally spend together. Or I know one of them is like physical touch if you're like really touchy, or maybe you guys don't spend that much time together in a relationship because what's most important to you is words of affirmation, I know is one of them, and just how you speak to one another and talk to one another. So yeah, I feel like I just got sidetracked, but how did we know it was the right time to move in together? We just knew. I feel like you just know when you know, and we were ready. And him going into the hockey season, like I said, I knew deep down it would be good for me to be long distance. And I feel like in a relationship that you know is forever, is that a lot to say? In a relationship that you know is like at least very long term and you're very serious about, it's almost good to have a period of time where you're long distance to know that you can still be you on your own and you're not just you with them, if that makes sense. So we knew it would be good for him to go do his first professional hockey season alone, and so that he could like figure it out on his own and navigate the world, because he didn't know what it was going to be like obviously at all. And it was just good for me to stay here in Boston, where I feel like Boston is literally my home. Just since I've lived here for 5 years, it really does feel like my home, and I have so many friends here and everything, so that is just what made sense for us. But we were ready like last May, so we are definitely ready this coming May to live together this summer and live together in the fall and everything. So that was a really long answer to your question, but I hope that made sense. This says, are you excited to move to Philly? So I thought this is a good question because I'm sure a lot of you are confused. It's not really Philly. So basically the Philadelphia Flyers organization, the NHL Philadelphia Flyers team is in Philly, and then like one level below that, like their closest minor league team, I guess you could say. Probably gonna like phrase the wording of this wrong, but I'm doing my best here. I've learned a lot in the last year dating a hockey player. So then it's the American League team, which is Max's current team, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. You guys know he signed with them after starting the season with the Reading Royals, which is in Reading, Pennsylvania, and that's like the minor league team right below the American League team, and that's like the East Coast League, if that makes sense. So it goes East Coast League, American League, NHL, and yeah. So basically what I was saying, I was like, what am I trying to say? So there's very few organizations that all the teams are so close like this, which is actually, I think, really nice and really ideal, because Reading is like an hour from Allentown, Allentown's like an hour from Philly, Philly's also like an hour from Reading, so they're all really close to one another. So it's nice if there's ever like movement between teams, it's literally just an hour drive instead of like a 6-hour flight from, you know, the NHL team to the American League team or whatever it may be. So I know it's probably confusing because sometimes I'll be in Philly, sometimes I'll be in Reading, sometimes I'll be in Allentown, and that's just because all the teams are around there. And no, I'm not moving to Philly, I'm moving to Allentown, Pennsylvania, because that is the team that Max signed with for this coming year. But he could always be sent down to the Reading team, which I know I wanted to get into, but it's nice because it's only an hour drive. if that makes sense. Okay, so I talked about moving in together, and what I mainly wanted to talk about, which I'm kind of getting at, is just the uncertainty of everything. I want you guys to be on the same page with me that everything's uncertain and up in the air, and as much as I can tell you like a plan or what I know, I really don't know, and no one can know, and Max can't even know, nobody knows, because the hockey world is just so, there's so much movement, a lot of things are so uncertain, I guess, unless you're a player that's played like in the NHL for so many years and you're like a veteran and have this like 8-year contract or whatever. That's not the norm, but there is just a lot of movement between the teams, a lot of call-ups and send-downs, and I just said that's so weird, but a lot of people are sent down, a lot of people are called up, a lot of people are traded. You can be traded at any time, which is honestly terrifying, but that is just something that you have to know going into it. And it's like I said earlier, I am just so happy that he gets to like live out his dream playing professional hockey, because like I said, again, when you're a little kid, like how many people want to grow up to play their sport professionally or do whatever it is they want to do. And so for me, it's just really easy, like especially with what I do, I feel so lucky again and blessed that I can work remotely and work from anywhere and just do what I love for my job. And that's just something that works so well with their lifestyle of being on the road so much. If it's being traded or moving to another team in the organization, whatever it is, I again feel so lucky that there's not really like an office, like a physical place that I have to work in a town that I have to live in. It's like I can do it from wherever, so that's why it just made a lot of sense to live together. And yeah, oh, and then there was questions about being a wag. I like hate that phrase, but if you guys don't know, the WAGs are just the wives and girlfriends, that's what it stands for. And luckily all the wives and girlfriends of his team right now, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, are so sweet. I was so nervous coming into it just because he was like, you know, brand new on the team. I didn't know anyone. I was like so nervous to meet everyone, and they're so freaking sweet. Like those girls are so nice. Everyone has a different situation, and I was just kind of thinking about it, like why me doing social media and having my YouTube channel and podcast and Instagram and everything is just so nice that I can kind of live wherever, because a lot of girls are from Canada if the guys on the team are Canadian, or you know, whatever, the girlfriends, wives are Canadian, and so a lot of times they can't work in the US at all, which can be really tricky. Or some wives or girlfriends, if they have babies, they don't work at all, and just like everyone is in a different situation, which is like totally good. So I know people like had questions about that, and that's why I just feel really lucky that I can do what I do wherever. And to talk more about the uncertainty of everything, like I said, you can get traded at any time, and you guys know, so he started off with the Reading Royals and then got called up to the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. They signed him for the next coming season, but basically if like how it works is if a bunch of guys on the Flyer, like if okay, so like a bunch of trade deadlines just happened. So if a bunch of guys get traded to the Flyers, let's say, and they have way too many forwards, they'll send some of their forwards down to Lehigh, and then if they have way too many forwards, Max could get sent to Reading. So that just happened. Did I just speak English? Max could get sent down to Reading. So he just got sent down for the past 4 games, was playing in Reading when I was in there. I'm like struggling right now, while I was there. So basically he was technically with Reading. He had 2 days off. We were in Philly. You guys saw we were in Philly. We were like having fun, and then we went back to Reading, stayed a night there, and then the next morning he's like, okay, I got called up. So we pack up all his stuff in like an hour, drive to Lehigh, and he's back in Lehigh right now. So it could be a lot of uncertainty and movement, but like I said, luckily they're really close to one another. And yeah, that's basically just our plan for the next year. And why we would be living in Allentown, Pennsylvania is just because he signed with that team. But if he moves to any of the other teams in their organization, it's nice that they're close, which I keep saying. So that's why it makes sense for us to like live in an apartment there. And if he gets traded or anything, knock on wood, we'll figure it out, because that's what you do with this lifestyle. You got to know what you're signing yourself up for. Another question kind of in the same vein of things is, are you nervous about making friends when you move to Pennsylvania? And in a way, yes. And it's funny because all of the WAGs, I just say that phrase, are kind of in it together. And it's like, it's really nice that I could meet a lot of the wives and girlfriends and everything, because we kind of are all just like following the boyfriends or husbands or fiancés wherever they're playing hockey, and it's usually a place that we've never been before. We don't know anybody, so it's nice being able to make friends that way. But I do worry about it, and it's like I have so many friends in Boston just from going to college here and stuff. So I also do feel really lucky though that Philly is so close by, because two of my really good friends from college are from Philly, live there. You guys know Megan and Amy. They were like in a vlog when Max said he came, I think, if you remember. Anyway, so I can see them. You guys know my good friend Tori. It's so funny because I only met Tori like in the past year. I feel like I've known her forever. You guys know Tori has her spin studio, Tori de Simone. Love her. She's not that far, so I feel lucky that I do know some people close by, but it's also not like I have my best friend Taylor or Louisa or anything like that. So it's definitely going to be a change, but yeah, it'll be okay. I'll have Max, my golden retriever. Everything will be good. This says, will you return to Boston in the future? So, yes, I believe we both plan to. We love it here so much. Max grew up on Cape Cod, you guys know. It's only like an hour from Boston, so he's so familiar with Boston. Loves it here. I lived here for the past 5 years for school, and yeah, like I said earlier, Boston really just feels like home, and I love it so much. And back to the wives and girlfriends, I was talking to a lot of them just about everything, because like I said, it's all so new to me and new to Max. Like, we just don't know what we're doing. And I'm like, all right, if you don't stay here in the off season, because basically season's only like 8 months long or whatever, so then the other 4 months of the year pretty much everyone goes back home where they're from. And I'm like, when you go home, what do? Lease an apartment for like 4 months? That seems tricky. And what a lot of them do is have homes that they will like rent out during the 8 months that they're away and just live in for like the 4 months that they're home. So that could be a potential option if I am smart enough with saving my money. And this like feels so weird to be like so vulnerable and talk about, and because we'll see really what happens. I could see us like also starting a lease again or whatever. I have no idea where we're going to be April of 2021, you know. But yeah, that's when the next season would end, and it's like we will probably come back to Boston since we love it here. And I could also see us like being on the Cape where he's from or whatever. I don't really see us going back to my hometown Albany, just because like I said, this really feels like home for me now. And yeah, I could definitely see myself buying a home, maybe not like in Boston, outside of Boston, we'll see. So yeah, buying a home to come in the future, not right now, but I believe we will return to Boston. We just love it here so much. This says, do you think your business degree helps you with YouTube and your podcast? So this isn't a relationship one again. Do you think you're Yeah, for sure. I am so happy that I finished my 4 years at BU. I feel like my junior year I started to really doubt it and being like, oh, I know I just want to do like YouTube and social media, like do I even need my degree? But I'm so happy I stuck it out and that I prioritized my education and that I paid for pretty much all of it. I think I've said that my parents paid for my freshman year, I believe that was it, or maybe even just my first semester, and then I realized I could pay and I just paid the rest because education was something that was important to me. And I feel so lucky and fortunate that I was able to get my degree at BU. But like a degree from anywhere is obviously like such a good thing to have, and you're so fortunate if you're able to get one. And yeah, I really feel like my business degree helped me a lot with YouTube and my podcast. And I feel like just on the business end of things, I don't know like how else to put it, but business school was like so interesting. I feel like I learned so much. And you know, at the end of the day, say they didn't even help me with YouTube or podcasts, because obviously you could do YouTube, podcast, whatever it is without a degree. I'm just so happy that I have my marketing business degree to fall back on in case I want to get a marketing job one day. And I could totally see myself working in marketing for a company someday. Not right now, but that doesn't mean that I never will. And yeah, so the answer is yes. I think it's helped a lot just on the business end of things and like knowing what's going on. That makes sense. I feel like a business degree just helps you a lot with like the real world in life and your finances. And I say to everyone, I feel like everyone could benefit from being in business school, because you literally just learn about skills that you kind of need and will use in life. But that's just my opinion. This is, what is your secret to being happy? I think my secret to being happy is just feeling really grateful always. And I've said this before in videos, but if you're really sad or mad about something, you have to force yourself to spin it around and think, why you're thankful or grateful that something happened. Like I always would do this in like situations where you have like a bad, say like relationship where someone or something ends, or you like get in a fight with someone, and I think I'm so grateful that I have learned that I don't deserve to be treated like this, or I'm so, you know, thankful that this has taught me this. That's kind of what I do. I'm like going on a tangent, but I think why I'm so happy is kind of just like who I am deep down, and just feeling grateful and optimistic. Yeah. This says, what are your family's opinions of Max? Ooh, this is the real tea. They love him. And not to get too deep because I'll cry, so I'm gonna say it quick. But my dad loved Max. And it's so crazy still that he's almost been gone a year. Like this month has been hard. March is just like a tough month. Wow, I said I was gonna cry. I'm gonna freaking cry. But this is what's so weird to say, is I feel so lucky that he was able to meet him. Like that feels so weird. Like I'm like, how do you not know my dad? Like I know my dad for the past 22 years of my life, but it's like obviously he doesn't. He was with him like a couple occasions, but I'm like so grateful that they had that time together. And even though they might have been in person together like 5 different times, I don't know what it was, me and my dad would always talk about Max, and him and my mom were really the ones in the beginning like pushing me to go on a date with him and saying that they really liked him and that he was a nice boy, and I was unsure and they were like more sure than me, which is so funny. So basically, yeah, my dad loved him and was always just like over the moon about him, which means like more to me than anyone can know. Wow, I'm really gonna cry. Okay, not talking about my dad anymore, but that is like the opinion that was like most important to me, obviously. But my mom loves him so much too. Like they are so close. Wow. And what means a lot to me too is my dad's side of the family loves him, and they'll like watch his hockey games and stuff and like text me about it. And yeah, that's just like really special to me. When he was playing in Charlotte, when he first came up and was playing with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, this is what I really felt like everything happens for a reason, because my dad's like whole side of the family lives in Charlotte, and they like all came to his games with me, and it was just so special. So my family really loves Max, and yeah, wow, didn't think I was literally gonna cry, but ooh. Do you and Max ever fight or argue? This is a good spin. I won't cry. No, not really. It's funny because we don't really. And there was another question later on. It's like, who is the most stubborn one in the relationship? Definitely me. So I feel like he's just so easygoing that we don't really fight or argue that much. But whenever I can think of times that we would be fighting or arguing, or we're kind of just having like a disagreement, we both push each other to like talk about it. Like if someone's like getting upset, I'll be like, I don't want to talk about it, and he'll be like, can we actually just talk about it and like figure it out? And then afterwards I'm like, wait, I'm so happy you made us have this conversation so I could even realize why I was actually mad, because it's like half the time you don't even know, you know? Or the other day he was like upset, and I'm like, okay, could we just talk about it? Like let's just talk and like figure out where this is all coming from. So we always just push each other to communicate with one another, and it always makes it better. And yeah, that's what I would recommend to get over fighting or arguing. But we fight or argue maybe 1% of the time. Like it barely ever happens because we're just so happy being with one another. How did y'all meet? I'll link it down below. I made a whole video about how we met, and if you guys have been watching for a while, you would know, but I'll link it down below because I made a whole video about it. This says, when did you realize you were in love? And I was thinking about it, and I remember a specific moment. We were out to dinner at one of my favorite restaurants in Boston called Barcelona, and I was just sitting there. So it was during Vlogmas. I think it was like the day before the first day of Vlogmas, because he gave me a card and it had like a certificate in it to get my nails done because he knew Vlogmas was starting. Like it was so sweet. And I think it was before the card, but I just like remember this whole dinner date. And I just remember sitting there at the booth like looking at him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I like love this man. He is like so perfect and makes me so happy, and he's just like the best human ever. And yeah, so that must have been like a month and a half into us dating, or I don't know, but I held it in and I didn't say anything, and he told me that he loved me first. Like I think it was like 3 months to the day of us dating. which I was so happy. And I remember I wrote this down because I thought it would be like meaningful to share with you guys. Because I asked him, I was like, when did you know that you loved me? And he also said in December, but later in December, when I visited him back home on Cape Cod, and I just spent so much time with him and his family, and it was like the first time that I was together with him and his family for like such a long period of time. And he was like, just seeing like how well you fit in my family and how much everyone loved you, and just like I knew. So yeah, I thought that was really cute. That's when we knew we loved each other. This says how to avoid codependency. Oh, and then I talked about, does he get annoyed with me being clingy, which I already talked about. No, we're clingy to each other, okay? How to avoid codependency, I would say just have your own things. And you can also, I wrote this down later, there's a difference between always having to spend time together and being like, I don't know how to describe it, like just spending so much time together and not doing anything else. There's a difference between that and like being around one another, but like doing your own thing. If you're like working on yourself, or like I feel like you can live together but still be very independent, if that makes sense. Sorry, my battery was dying. I was saying that you guys can like be around one another but doing your own thing, and also just like not being around them. Like you can avoid being codependent by spending time with other people, having your own interests and hobbies and everything. And I feel like I said again, I feel like this long distance has just helped me a lot be really independent and not codependent. So I feel like that really helps, because you are forced to figure out things on your own when they're literally not around you. This says, does he get annoyed? Oh, with being so clingy. We already talked about that. Okay. Is Max the one? Sometimes I feel too young to know. This I thought was interesting to talk about, because me and Maggie were talking about it not too long ago, about how sometimes we feel pressured in a way that people older than us are like, oh, they can't know, or like they're so young, what do they know, or oh, like I always thought I was gonna be that girl that was like engaged at 25 and married or whatever, and like little did I know. So we always feel kind of like pressured, like, oh, we probably are too young to know, like we're so young. But also it's like everyone is different, every relationship is different, and it's like you don't, like that's not really fair to say, you know? I think I can confidently sit here and say that Max is the one. I know we've talked about it before, we've talked about marriage, so I don't think that's like really surprising to anyone, and I don't think I'm too young to know. And if you think that you're too young to know, I would just say that nobody else knows your relationship like you do, and if you are confident in what you have, then just trust that. So yeah, that's my opinion. But then I also could look back at 27 and look back at right now and be like, oh, I knew nothing, you know? So whatever. Take it with a grain of salt. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I usually hate these questions, but you know, I was thinking about this the other day, because I'm 22, and that means when I was 17 and people were like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, this is me right now in 5 years. And I wonder if I was right. I don't know what I thought back then. I don't know. Like, weird to think about, right? But in 5 years I'll be 27, hopefully engaged at least. I'm sorry, Max, when you see this, I know I'm crazy, I know. But no, I think that's very reasonable within 5 years. It's not anytime soon. There were so many questions like, when's the wedding? When are you like having an engagement? When is he proposing? Like, we've only been dating for, how long is it now? I don't know, like not even a year and a half. October, November, December, January, March. Wait. Yeah, so it's a year and 5 months. I'm like struggling with my math over here. So almost a year and a half. So just like let us be, and we're enjoying the dating, and we will get engaged when it happens. How about that? Oh, but I was saying probably engaged in 5 years, and definitely with a golden retriever that I adore. Definitely. This says, I'm getting ready for 2 more years of long distance. How do you make the most? How to make the most when we see each other? This is kind of what I was saying before. There's a difference between physically being around one another and actually spending time together and enjoying your time together. So I think that is how you can make the most of your time, because there's definitely like times when I visited Max or whatever where I'm like busy on my phone or on my computer doing stuff, and it's like, no, all I have wanted for the past couple weeks and I've been looking forward to is spending time with him. That's what I need to be doing right now. So I think a tip that I have is, if you have things that you know that you need to get done or work on or whatever, do it before you go. Like I try to do a lot of things in advance before I go and visit him, just so that when I'm with him I have my full attention to spend time with him and hang out and just have fun. So I think that's my tip for you, to how to make the most of it. Oh, this I thought was interesting. We're almost done. Sorry, this is a long Q&A. I didn't know it was going to be this long. But a girl said, who is Max's favorite hockey player? And that her boyfriend was asking, and I thought that was funny. And I texted him right before I started filming this, and I was like, who's your favorite hockey player? And he said Sidney Crosby, who I've definitely heard him say his name before, but I googled him. Wait, I actually need to go look. I'm pretty sure he plays for the Penguins. I like don't even know. Canadian professional ice hockey player, captain of the Penguins. Yeah. And yeah, so I guess that's his favorite hockey player. I don't know. I don't know anything. My favorite hockey player is Max Bowman. Last question. I just thought this was interesting and cute. It said, would you rather parent a mini Max or a mini Gretchen? Because I think it'll happen one day. But I would definitely rather parent a mini Max, for so many reasons. Mini Gretchen was a pain in the freaking butt. I wouldn't have wanted to be my parents raising me. I feel like I was so difficult, and just like, you know, the little kids that are like, why? I feel like that was me. I was like annoying and just whatever. I was cute, come on, like I was cute, but I've always been stubborn and wanting my way. And me and Max always talk about it now, how when I was little, like, why did my parents like let me do this? Why did they put up with me? My parents would always say growing up how this is like such a random like specific thing, but right as I found out what surf and turf was, how you would get like steak and lobster, and it was always like the most expensive thing on the meal. Like I was so bougie as like a 7-year-old. They're like, right as you found out what surf and turf was, you would be trying to order everywhere, and we would be at like Applebee's, and I'd be like, I'll have the surf and turf, and they'd be like, we don't have that, like you can have chicken fingers. And they said that I would like order surf and turf everywhere. Anyway, I feel like I was just like a difficult child, so I don't want to parent a mini me, but mini Max would just be precious. He is just such a good boy, like he's such a good person. And you know what's interesting is when we first started dating, I was like, oh, your full name's Maxwell. And I'm like, oh, probably like no one calls you that, just like your mom when she's mad at you. You know how everyone says that, like, oh, you just get called your full name when your mom's mad at you. They're like, Maxwell. And he's like, no, I don't know what you mean. I don't think my mom's ever been like mad. I'm like, your mom's never yelled at you for like doing something wrong? And he's like, no, like not really. I'm like, okay, you're like, why are you like nice and like so good? Like my mom would yell at me all the time. So yeah, definitely a mini Max. He would be so cute, mini Max. I just think of like the baby pictures I've seen of him. Anyway, enough of me being mushy. I hope this Q&A helped you out a little bit, cleared up some confusion. Wait, I feel like there was one question in here that I didn't even like address. Oh yeah, so the question that was like, is Max for sure playing in Pennsylvania next year? Did I even say that one? I don't know. Is he for sure playing in Pennsylvania next year? Yes, he signed with that Lehigh Valley team, but he could always be traded, so it's like, you never really know. And it said, is it too late to be drafted? I feel like people always ask about the draft, and it's like, I just want to be like, no, he was already drafted like forever ago. But I'm sure it works differently for every sport. I only know hockey. So in hockey, you get drafted when you're like 18 or 19. I'm pretty sure that's the age. And then they can sign you after you're drafted by them, or they cannot, and you can go play somewhere else. So Max was drafted in 2014, I'm pretty sure, because that's when he was 19, 18. Yeah, I think he was drafted in 2014 by the Buffalo Sabres. You guys know that, I've talked about that before, or you can literally like Google his name. He was drafted by Buffalo. He didn't sign with them after BU, ended up with the Flyers organization. Now he's with Lehigh. So it's not like, oh, is he gonna get drafted? No, he was drafted like forever ago. That's just like not how it works. And he didn't sign with them, so now he's with this organization, if that makes sense. But I think for like other like football or basketball, I don't really know, but if you're like drafted, you like right away go play for that team. So that's not really how it is for hockey. Like he doesn't get drafted by another team. It would be him being traded or called up or something like that, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's basically just what I wanted to like clear up, because I feel like there are so many questions on like where you're gonna be, like, and people think that I'm moving there like full time, and I guess we're like moving there for 8 months, but I'm not moving there until forever, because like when hockey season ends, we'll live not there. We'll live probably here, you know? So yeah, and if there's times where it looks like I'm somewhere else or it's confusing, he probably got sent up or down to another team or got traded or something. So yeah, basically this is just going to be a big learning experience the next hockey season for us, and it'll just be a lot. It'll be fun. You guys can come along for the ride with us. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted this to be about. Sorry this is so long, didn't anticipate that, but I'm sure deep down I did, because you guys know I'm a talker, I'm a chatty girl. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.